This week, Jeff Greenfield has been looking beyond the big names here at the Democratic Convention to introduce us to some of the rank-and-file delegates. He concludes his series with a college president who has something in common with John Kerry. Besides being a New Englander, he's a Vietnam veteran.
How you doing? Good to see you.
For North Shore Community College President Wayne Burton,
You got so many hats you wear. I know. Sometimes they get confusing.
the 8-hour workday is a distant memory.
This is an extremely important election.
At 7:30 a.m., Burton is moderating a breakfast for the North Shore Chamber of Commerce in nearby Lynn, Massachusetts. 9 a.m.,
Mrs. Barton?
he's checking in on Virginia Barton to see how her Community Minority Cultural Center is doing. At 10 a.m., he's at the Capitol Diner in Lynn
I'm back!
for a very special delivery.
I don't think there's any doubles in there.
Eggs for his friend Julio, who's working the grill.
These yolks came from very healthy, happy, democratic chickens. What's your name?
Ariane Mendez.
Next up, meeting students at Operation Bootstrap, an adult education program in Lynn.
You have to realize how important the step you're taking right now is.
I was a captain. I was a company commander.
For 60-year-old Wayne Burton, the first step toward public service began in 1968 on the other side of the world in Vietnam.
The first night I spent trying to crawl into a helmet as incoming rocket mortars rained down on us, I realized what it was like to feel disempowered. And I think for the first time in my life, I really understood being powerless. And it changed a lot of things for me. I promised myself that if I got out of there alive, that I would participate in the political process that caused me to get there in the first place, that I would be a participant.
Burton and John Kerry served in Vietnam at the same time, but they never met until 1987. Now, Burton is doing all he can to help his fellow veteran.
I made a commitment to him because in a way it's like making a commitment to myself, in a promise I made when I was in Vietnam.
He was there for Kerry, making calls to vets during the Iowa caucuses. He was behind him on stage as Kerry won his first primary in New Hampshire.
We're going to go after everybody now.
Now, he's working with veterans for Kerry.
Okay, ladies.
And remember those eggs back at that diner?
There's a certain sense of solidarity after a long day of politics, academics, to come back, and the chickens are just out here doing what they always do, and I know the world is all right.
Jeff Greenfield, CNN, Boston.
And joining us now here on the platform is Wayne Burton. Mr. Burton, thanks very much for joining us. What do you make of those Vietnam veterans who are critical of John Kerry and say his heroic acts in Vietnam are simply overblown?
I'd like you to picture this Fleet Auditorium full of hidden snipers. And you send somebody in to walk around and draw their fire. Think about that. That's what John Kerry's mission was, to drive around the rivers and draw fire. And when they did, to take action. That's very dangerous work.
Other veterans are upset when he came back. He threw his ribbons away into that crowd. They're angry with some of the comments he made about the behavior of U.S. troops during the Vietnam War.
John Kerry was a 27-year-old person, I was the same age, who led a national movement to stop the war. He did some dramatic things to do it, and one of them was to throw ribbons over the wall. Secondly, I was in an area where free fire zones were used continually. We fired what's called harassment interdiction fire. We were landing artillery on civilians. We didn't know where the artillery was going. When John talks about that, that's what he's referring to. He didn't say every GI in Vietnam committed atrocity, but the way we ran the war was basically against some of the rules of war.
Wayne Burton, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.